Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're doing well. It's been 2 weeks since we last talked. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing great. I missed you. How are you? Good? Awesome. Anyways, in the last 2 weeks since we last talked, a major life event has happened. Daft Punk is no more. The creators of a new sound of dance music, pioneers in the electronic music industry, the robots, they are no longer together. While that is sad, they have a great legacy to look back upon. Discovery, top 10 albums of all time, Random Access Memories, a great closer to their career, and come on, Get Lucky still slaps to this day. But in honor of the robots, we're going to be going over how to make some chrome text like you're in Daft Punk, and we're going to do some sparkly effects like you're in the Random Access Memories era. So for this tutorial, I'm going to go over how to make this font over here nice and chrome and flashy, and then I'm going to go over the process of how I made this loop in After Effects. And also, for the first time ever in this tutorial, we're going to give away a free preset where it's just me on the channel. Anyways, I'm going to give away a free preset for you guys to do the chrome effect without like having to go and do all the effects in Photoshop. You could download it, plop some text in there, and do it yourself. So that's a first for the channel. And yeah, this is the effect we're gonna make in this video, and I hope you guys stick around and learn something new. So let's get into that, shall we? So before we get into the video, I want to go on the background of how we got to our idea. So this week I was listening to a lot of Random Access Memories, and my favorite song is Lose Yourself to Dance. So I watched the music video and I was like, damn, these people are sparkling, they're snazzy, they're dazzling, and I'm like, I want to make something like that for a tribute to them or just a fun little practice art piece. So this is the original idea. I watched a music video and their whole era is very 80s and sparkly and chromed out. And then I was thinking I wanted to do like some fun font like this and make it a chrome effect. So this is like the single cover artwork. So I really like the font choice there. So I tried to mimic that. This is like a handwritten font, but you could like look up a font that mimics the style. I found a nice little script. So after coming up with my idea, I dropped it into Illustrator, and this is our final font choice. I think we're using, it's called Yellowtail. It's in Typekit, I believe. So this is our final font choice. So you want to make sure you get a good font for your text, or you can use any image as long as it's a vector. Because when you plop it into Photoshop, you need to be able to edit it with the effects in Photoshop, and it works best with a vector or text. So this is the text we're going to be using, and we're going to go hop into Photoshop. Okay, so now that we're in Photoshop, I'm just gonna make a 2048 by 2048 canvas. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as you get your text fitting in the middle. So I'm gonna go and plop our text from Illustrator as a smart object. And look at that, we got our beautiful little text in Illustrator right over here. So you could place your image, anything, as long as it's a smart object, because you're gonna be working with filters, and it works best with a smart object to use the filters. So we're gonna go over the process of making the chrome. Right now, we're gonna make sure our object is selected, and we're gonna go down to Effects and go to Bevel and Emboss. So for our first effect, we're gonna go here and we're gonna go to Emboss. We're gonna make sure that's smooth, and for your depth, you wanna make sure, see like over here, it doesn't look that deep. You're gonna make sure it's 1000 to give it that full depth effect and give it those edges. So after that, we're gonna make sure that our direction's going down because we want the light to be reflecting that way. And then we're gonna go to 35 pixels, which gives it a nice little chrome effect. And then down in the effects panel for the Bevel and Emboss, we're gonna make sure this is -152 and 37. You can really play around with this. It's just gonna affect the way that the shading is viewed upon the reflection. So we're gonna do -152 and 37, and that gets us into a nice spot. And for our glass contour, we're gonna make sure we're using this one right over here, the ring double. So make sure that's clicked upon. And for this, you're just gonna make sure this is white, this is black, and then make sure this shadow mode is multiply and this one's on normal. So now we got a nice bevel and emboss going on, and our chrome text is looking a little chrome, but we could still push that a bit farther to get it to a spot we would like it at. So now that we got our bevel and emboss, we're gonna move down and go to our inner shadow and make sure that's selected. And for our blend mode, we're gonna put it on normal. For the opacity, we could put it on 58. You could play around with this where you like it, but I think 58 is a solid point. Then for the angle, that's gonna be the way the shadow reflects upon itself. So I have it set to 90 degrees. The distance, I have it set to 3, which just shows like how far it goes out on the emboss. And then the choke makes the depth larger or smaller. So I like to keep it somewhere in the middle because you don't want it going jumping out away from the text. So we have it on 60 around here, the size 6, and the contour and noise is fine like that. So now we can hit OK, and our text is looking way more chromy on the outside. Is that a word? We just invented it. Who cares? So we got the text on the outside, and we're gonna go back into our effects panel over here, and we're gonna add one more effect. And for our last effect, we're gonna add a color overlay, which really brings out the shadows over here. So I'm gonna make it black, and you can mess with the opacity, make it as black as you want, or like as light as you want. I think this is a fair middle ground. So we're gonna hit OK, and we got ourselves a nice little shiny text over here, but we could still push that a little more. So now that we're zoomed out of the final product with all the effects, you might want to push it a little bit more. And for that, I could say we could go further. So going further means we're gonna go and make a new folder, and then we're just gonna drag this little smart object in there and then close that. So if you wanna make it like a different color, really make the shadows pop, these are the two ways to do it. So you're gonna go to layer, new adjustment layer, and then go to curves. So the curves are gonna be what makes like the lights pop or the darks darker, and you could go and just mess around with your curve like that and get a little crazy with it. You could add another point and like really get accurate details or whatever you want. I'm just getting a little crazy. But for this one, I know I just want the whites to pop a little bit more because I want to work with an orange color. So now we got the curves rocking over there. We're gonna make another adjustment layer. So we're gonna do new adjustment layer and then gradient map. And you're gonna be like, Alec, why is this taking over the whole image? Well, it's because we need to select both of these and make it a clipping mask. And that means it's only affecting the layer right below it, which is our folder we made. Hell yeah. So for the gradient, we could just double click on that and it will bring up, oh, we can bring it over here. We're just gonna open that up. And I know I wanna work with orange. You could really do like any pattern you want, and it gives it a nice iridescent feel. So for this one, like you could even go to iridescent and then get really crazy with it. Like look at this one, that one's crazy. With the pink and the orange, oh my god. But yeah, you could get really crazy with it and even make your own gradients. So I know for mine, I definitely want to be working with this orange because I want to do like the random access memories feel, like the sunset, Get Lucky cover has those warm tones to it. So I'm gonna go and mess around till we get something we like. And I'm feeling, which one, this one? No, this one or this one or that one. I'm gonna go with this orange. So look at that, we got ourselves a nice shimmery text effect, and if you zoom in you could really see the edges popping like that. So I think this is a really solid point to be at, and if you want to push it a little more, you could add some sparkles to the text or you could bring it into After Effects. So for this one, I'm gonna bring it into After Effects, and then we could get started to animating it and making it really, really shine. Okay, so now that we're in After Effects, you're gonna wanna make sure your image was exported from Photoshop as a PNG so it's transparent on the edges, and we're gonna drop that bad boy right here in the center of the screen. My canvas size is 2048 by 2048, which is like the same that we used for Photoshop, and you can post it to Instagram, Twitter, keep it for yourself, whatever works for you. So for this effect, I'm gonna show you one free way and then one way that you might need some plugins for. For the plugins, you could probably get it for free with a student ID or find it on the internet. I'm not endorsing anything, but if you find it, apply them to your project. So for the free way, I'm just gonna zoom out here, you're gonna go and look up glow in the effects panel. So we're gonna just go and drag that onto our clip, and we'll let that render for a second, and it adds a nice little shine to it. But if you want, you could take it a step further by making the glow radius like a little crazy, like 50, or you could even make it go to 100, and then that gives it that nice like outer glow over here. So that really looks like it's shining right over here, and I think that's awesome. If you want to export it as a PNG and use that for a project, a poster, I think that's looking good and is a solid first point to start at. So now if you're like me and have the Red Giant plugins, you could just take this glow off, and then my favorite glow to use is this Uni glow over here. I'm gonna go and slap that on there, and I think it just gives the glow a nicer effect than just the standard After Effects glow. Not taking away from the first project, but it just looks nicer in my opinion. So you're just gonna mess around with that to get it to a point where you like it, and then to get those little star trails, you could either draw the stars on it in Photoshop or in After Effects. There's a Red Giant plugin called Star Glow, and we'll add that right over there, and it adds those nice star filters, and it looks like it's keeping a gold chain on my neck. It's shining a bit. If you zoom in, you could really see the details of that plugin when we take it off and take it on. So here's it off, and then on, it just looks like a beautiful final project, and it looks like it's sparkling like Nile Rodgers' jacket in the music video. So before we go, I just wanted to show that I keyframe the glows to get a nice little pulsating effect. So right now we're on the first keyframe and there's nothing going on. It's just like the effects on their lowest setting. And then if you go halfway through the clip, you get this nice full glow effect. It's sparkling. You can see the outer edges over here, and I think that looks great. and then you go 2 more frames and it's back to normal. So I was thinking of making this a perfect loop, and I have some nice like golden destroyed footage to put behind it, and I think it'll be awesome as a perfect loop. So I'm just gonna render this out, and then we're gonna drop it into Premiere, and then we'll make it the final product. So I hope you guys learned something in After Effects. You could always use this for post-processing, like even for images. After Effects has like a lot of great effects over here, and you could really play around with them. The glow is like one of my standards, and I hope you guys learned something new today. So this is the final project. I think it came out really good, and it was a nice tribute to the robots, and I hope you guys learned something new today. Make your own glow effect, and if you do, make sure you tag me on all socials at Fluffytriforce, and if you want, you could go into the link below and download the project file for yourself and make your own chrome effect. If you do, make sure to hit me up. Anyways, that's the video for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in 2 Wednesdays. Hope you guys stay well, and I'll see you later. Peace.